So today I would like to present about the nervous system of the human body. The basic purpose of the nervous system is to coordinate all the activities of the body. It enables the body to respond and adapt the changes occur both inside and outside of the human body. There are two major parts of the nervous system, which are the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system also divided into two major structures, which is brain and the spinal cord. The brain is found within the skull or cranium, and it is made up of 6 main sections, which is the cerebrum, cerebellum, midbrain, diencephalon, pubes, and medulla oblongata. The other half of the central nervous system is spinal cord, and the spinal cord is the link between the brain and the nerve, and also the rest of the body. The spinal cord is divided into 4 different region parts, which is cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and afferent spinal nerve, which is merged the form of the spinal nerve. Now we know the brain of the spinal cord are primarily made up to the central nervous system. Let's look at the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is essentially the nervous system which is outside of the brain and the spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system is then divided into 2 smaller systems, which is somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. Okay, now let's look at the basic of urinary system structure, which are 2 kidney, 2 ureters, 1 bladder, 1 urethra. 2 kidney are bean-shaped in appearance. They are located on either side of the vertebral column behind the upper part of the abdominal cavity. Kidneys are protected by the ribs and heavy cushion of fat called adipose capsule, literally suspended in the human body, meaning unattached to any major organ. They pretty much stand up by themselves. Each kidney is divided into 2 main sections, which is the cortex and the medulla. The cortex is the outer sections of the kidney, contains the majority of the nephrons. Nephrons is microscopic or filtering unit, while the medulla is the inner sections of the kidney, contains most of the collecting tubules, which carry the urine from nephrons through the kidney to the ureters. The ureters are 2 muscular tubes approximately 10 to 12 inches long and extending from the renal pelvis of each kidney to the bladder. Bladder is a hollow much like a stomach. The surface of the bladder is called rugae, which is low to expand the urine as it is collected. From the bladder is the urethra tube, which is to carry the urine from the bladder to the outside of the body. And for the lastly, urethral meatus, which is the external opening.
Okay, we're moving to the next part, which is respiratory system. Respiratory system help us to inhale and exhale, allow us to talk and smell, moisturize warm air to humidity level of our body, deliver oxygen to the cell in our body, also remove waste gas and protect our airways from harmful substance. Here we have divided to 4 parts, which is airways to your lung parts, muscles and bone parts, lung and blood vessel part, also others important part. Okay, first of all, we move to the airways to your lungs part. First of all is mouth and nose. Mouth and nose is the part that we have the opening that pulls air into our body. Okay, sinus, and then sinus is a hollow area between the bone at our head and the throat. Throat is the tube that deliver the air from our mouth to our trachea, which is okay. The next part, trachea. Trachea is the passage that connecting our throat to our lung. And then we have bronchial tube, which is the tube at the bottom of our one pipe that connect to the lungs. Okay, lungs is a 2 organ that remove the oxygen and give and flow back our carbon dioxide for exhale. And then we go to the muscles and bones part. Here we have two which is diaphragma. Diaphragma is the muscle that help us our lungs to pull and push. And then we have rib, which the bone that surround our lungs and heart that can protect it. Okay, we going to the third part, which is lung and blood vessel part. We have alveoli. Alveoli is the tiny air sac, and then the bronchial is the place where the alveoli place the small branches that places the alveoli. And then we have capillaries. Capillaries is the blood vessel in the alveoli. And then we have lung lobe. Lung lobe that was the section of the lung, which is they have 3 lobes, 2 on your left and then 1 on our right lungs. And then last but not least, we have pleuria. Pleuria is the thin sac that surround of each lung lobe. And then we go to the last part, which is others important part. And others important part, we can see that we have 3 part, which is cilia. Cilia is a tiny hair that remove and filter the dust and others instant out of our airways. And then we have epiglottis, which is a tissue flap at the entrance of our trachea that make our food to swallow down and also protect our food from coming out. And then last but not least, we have larynx, which is the voice box. Larynx is the hollow organ that allows us to talk and make sound from the air move in and move out. Okay, I think that's all for me. Thank you. The endocrine system. Okay, the main function is the endocrine system is a complex network of glands and organs. It uses hormones to coordinate your body, metabolism, energy level, reproduction, growth, development and response. Okay, we go to the first part of endocrine system, which is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus located at the base of the brain near the optic chiasm, where the optic nerve behind the eye cross and meet. It secretes hormone to suppress release of hormone in pituitary gland, controlling water balance, sleep, temperature, appetite and blood pressure. Okay, then we go to the next part, which is pituitary glands. It located below the brain and control many functions of other endocrine glands. And then we going to the third part, which is adrenal gland. It located at the top of each kidney, work hand in hand with pituitary and hypothalamus. Also produce corticosteroid hormone and epinephrine to maintain blood pressure and regulate metabolism. And then we go to the fourth part, which is thymus, located in the upper part of the chest, and it produces white blood cells that fight infection and destroy abnormal cells. Okay, we're going to the next part, which is pineal gland, located below the corpus callosum in the middle of the brain. It produces the hormone melatonin, which helps us to know when to sleep. And then we go to the next part, thyroid and parathyroid glands, located in front of the neck, below the larynx, which is the voice box. And then thyroid is important for body metabolism, and then the parathyroid is important for regulation of the body calcium balance. And then we have pancreas. Pancreas located across the back of the abdomen behind the stomach. Play roles in digestion as well as hormone production. And then it also produces insulin and glucagon, which regulates level of blood sugar. Okay, for the woman, we have ovary, which located on both sides of the uterus, below of the opening of fallopian tube. It produces estrogen and progesterone for the reproduction. And then for men, we have testes, which is the last part, located in a pouch that hang suspended outside the male body. It produces testosterone and sperm. Okay.
Hello, my name is Haniasmin binti Anisan and my metric card is CE180113. Okay, for the system, I'm doing for muscular system, which is we have 5 muscular system, which is name of muscle, types of muscle, connective tissue, type of movement, and muscle work in pairs. So, for example, the name of muscle we have 3, trapezius, pectoralis, and gluteus. There is in trapezius, there's deltoid, bicep, triceps. And for pectorals, we have latissimus dorsi and abdominals. And for gluteus, we have quadricep, hamstring, sartorius, and gastrocnemius. For type of muscle, we have 3, which is voluntary, involuntary, and cardiac. Voluntary is under our conscious control. Involuntary, we have work automatically and no conscious command. For cardiac, we have involuntary, which is work constantly with no rest. Okay, next we have a connective tissue. There's 3 types, which is ligament, tendons, and cartilage. For ligament, bands of white elastic fiber. For tendon, is a white, flexible, and very strong and non-elastic cord. And for cartilage, is shiny, smooth, white covering of the bones. For type of movement, we have 5, which is flexion is for decreasing the angle of a joint, the bending of a limb. Extension, increasing the angle of a joint, straightening the limb. Next, abduction, the movement of a limb away from the midline of the body. Adduction is the movement of the limb toward the midline of the body. Next and last, rotation, which is the bone move freely in a curve. Last but not least, we have muscle work in pairs, which is 5-2, which is agonist, working muscle that contract to create a movement. Second, antagonist, the relaxing muscle to allow the movement to be created. Third, origin, the end of a muscle attached to the stationary bone. Fourth, insertion, which is the end of a muscle attached to the moving bone. And last, antagonistic muscle action, which is muscle can only pull. For the next one, I will show you about skeletal system. There's 2, which is cell skeletal organization and osteology. Okay, for osteology, which is the bone function, which is support, protection, and movement. It contains mineral storage and blood cell formation. There are 7 bone classes, which is sesamoid bone, structural bone, pneumatic bone, irregular bone, flat bone, short bone, and long bone. And then for the content of the bone, it is 67% inorganic substances, which is the 30% is organic substances. Next, the varieties of the bone, which has got 2, which is compact and cancellous. Next, for the osteology of cartilage, it achieves smooth movement at the joint, involve the growth of the bone and repair of the bone, form structural support in flexible part, which is, there's 3 types of cartilage: hyaline cartilage, fibrocartilage, and elastic cartilage. For the skeletal organization, there's 80 axial bone, which got 22 skull. There is a mandible, 13 facial bone, and 8 cranial bones. For the vertebral column, there are 7 cervical, 5 lumbar, 12 thoracic, 4 fused coccyx, 5 fused sacrum. For the thoracic cage, there is a rib and it supports pectoral girdle and upper limb. For the next one, we got 126 appendicular bone, which is pectoral girdle. It it is incomplete ring that support upper limbs, and pelvic girdle support and protect lower abdominal pelvic organ. And last but not least is attached limb, which is lower limb and upper limb. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Integumentary system. The function of integumentary system are protection, sensation, allows movement, endocrine, excretion, immunity, regulate temperature. Okay, we have 5 organ of integumentary system, which is skin. Skin we have two divided into two part, which is dermis and epidermis. Okay, the dermis is the outer layer of the skin that makes up its strong protective covering, and epidermis located under the epidermis. Most of the structure of the skin are located in the dermis, such as various types of gland and hair follicles. Okay, next one we have hair. The function of hair is to protect the skin, regulate body temperature, lend itself to the evaporation and perspiration process, help with the nerve sensing function of the integumentary system. Okay, next one we have nails. Nails consist of several segments, which is nail plate, nail bed, cuticle, nail fold, lunula, and matrix. The function of nail is to protect the fingers and toes from injury or trauma, and sensation, assist with the sense of touch. Okay, next one we have exocrine gland. First, we have sudoriferous gland. The function is to emit perspiration to help cool the body off when the body temperature is rises. Second one, we have sebaceous gland, which is releasing oil into the hair follicle to help lubricate and protect the hair shaft. Okay, next we have ceruminous gland, okay, which is role as protective mechanism, keep foreign invaders at bay and guarding the ear against any type of physical damage. And last one, we have mammary glands. Mammary glands, to produce breast milk after giving birth. Okay, the last organ is sensory nerve. Sensory nerve transmit feeling of pain, heat, and other sensation experienced by the skin. Okay, that's all for integumentary system. Okay, next I will present about lymphatic system. Okay, lymphatic system. The function of lymphatic system is to collect tissue fluid and return it to the bloodstream. Next, to absorb and transport fatty acid and glycerol. It's responsible for maturing and storing of lymphocytes. And the last one, the function of lymphatic system is to fight infection. Okay, so we move to organs of lymphatic system. First one, we have lymph. Lymph is to filter out the damaged cell and cancer cell. Second one, we have lymph nodes. Lymph nodes produce and store lymphocytes and their immune system cells and filter out the damaged cells and cancer cell. Okay, next we have lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic vessels is to collect and filter lymph at the nodes as it continues to move towards largest vessel called collecting ducts. Okay, next one, collecting ducts. Collecting ducts is to connect to the subclavian vein, which returns lymph to your bloodstream. Okay, next one here we have spleen. Spleen is to filter and store blood and produce white blood cell. Next one we have thymus. Thymus matches a specific type of white blood cell. that fight off foreign organism. Okay, next one we have tonsils and adenoid. Tonsils and adenoid is to trap pathogens from the food you eat and the air you breathe. Okay, next one we have bone marrow. Bone marrow, the white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets are made in the bone marrow. Okay, last one we have Peyer's patches. Peyer's patches is to monitor then and destroy bacteria in the intestines and housing a good bacteria and repopulating our gut with good bacteria after an infection has cleared. Okay, that's all.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Nabil Amruddin Muhammad Isa. My numeric is DE180182. I'm from Group 4 and I will explain about two systems, which is cardiovascular system and also digestive system. So we will move on to the first, which is cardiovascular system. Cardiovascular system is a system where its function is to transferring nutrient, oxygen, and also other substance throughout our body. And the second is to remove waste from the tissues. So next is the parts that involve, which is it will involving three main organ, which is heart, blood vessel, and also blood. So the function of heart is to pump blood through the body, and for the blood vessel, it is divided into three, which is arteries, vein, and capillaries. Arteries is used to carry blood away from heart to the tissues. Vein is used to return the blood from the capillary to the heart, and the capillaries is used to diffuse oxygen and nutrient from blood into tissues and remove waste product. And next, we will take a look into the blood. Blood is divided into four, which is red blood cell, where it is used to transport oxygen. And the second is white blood cell, where it will protect our body against bacteria and also infection. The third is plasma, where it will take nutrient, hormone, and protein to our body and remove waste product from cell. And the fourth is the platelets, where it is in charge of blood clotting, where blood clotting is used to stop our body from continuous bleeding. And the third process is circulation. Circulation is divided into two, which is pulmonary circulation and also systemic circulation. So at pulmonary circulation, oxygen per blood is pumped from heart to the lung, and carbon dioxide is diffused while oxygen is absorbed by the blood. And the difference at the systemic circulation is, at systemic circulation, oxygen-rich blood is pumped from heart to the rest of our body, and cell will absorb oxygen and the carbon dioxide is loaded back to the blood. We will move into the digestive system. Digestive system, its function is to break down and absorb nutrient from food and liquid that are being consumed by us. So it will involve three main process, which is digestion, absorption, and also excretion. At digestion, the organ that take part is small intestine, where the small intestine is will digest food from our stomachs and absorb nutrient from food and water. At absorption, three main organ is involved, which is mouth, esophagus, and stomach. At mouth is the saliva in our mouth will break down the food for our body to absorb, and then esophagus will channel the food from our mouth to our stomach, and at our stomach, the enzyme in our stomach will break down the food that we ate into a usable form. And the third process where excretion is involving two main organ, which is large intestine and also anus. Large intestine is used to absorb water and salt that has not been digested as food, and also produce feces. And anus is used to to expel the feces. So that's all for me. Thank you.